Why do we do so many things that we say we're not gonna do? We pick up that donut even though we said we wouldn't. We end up watching another video on YouTube when we promised it was gonna be the last one. Or even worse yet, we'll say something out of rage even though we said we would stop getting angry at our families, and yet we do it time and again. So I want to get into how to identify why it is that you do what you don't want to do, and how to flip that so you start doing the things that you choose to do so that you can reclaim your mind, reclaim your heart and your soul, so that you can create predictable happiness and fulfillment in your life. So let's get into it. Welcome back to Whole Goals, everybody. My name is Andrew Love, and as the founder, it is my job, as I see it, to help you reclaim your mind, heart, body, and soul so that you can be an unstoppable force of good in this world, in this day, in this age. So last week I was on a coaching call with this young guy, and he was really frustrated because he was stuck in this pattern where he was always doing the things he said he wasn't gonna do. And it was so hard for him to actually just do the things he said he was going to do. He lacked integrity. Now, integrity is a really important word because it's when two things become one. If you have integrity with your word, it means that what you say is what you do. Does not sound like any politician I've ever met. But to have integrity with friends and relatives, the people in your life, means that people trust your word because you're a man of your word. And when you say it, they just know, oh, he said it, so he's gonna do it. But when you lack integrity, you can say stuff and people are like, yeah, you talk a lot, but what are you gonna do about it? On a more personal level, we have this problem even within ourselves. A lot of times, if we lack integrity with ourselves, we'll say, oh, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow morning and I'm gonna go to the gym, and we're not gonna do it. We know that we're not gonna do it when we don't have integrity, and we lie to ourselves. And then when we don't do the things that we say we're gonna do, we feel terrible because we know then at that point that we don't have any power. It's a terrible feeling to know that you don't have power or control over yourself. So if you can't control yourself, then what can you control? So to build integrity, you have to understand why it is that you don't do the things that you say you're going to do. So if you want integrity in your life, you have to understand why it is that you lack it, why you don't have it. A lot of people think that this is just a problem in the moment. Like, if I say I'm not gonna reach out for that ice cream because I'm on a diet that doesn't allow ice cream, and yet I grab it and I eat it because I can't stop myself. A lot of people think that I just need to fix that moment in time. I just need to be able to have the willpower to stop myself from doing the things I don't wanna do. But this is where the concept of momentum is really, really important. And this is what came up in my call with this young man last week. We build up momentum in our lives, and when we have sufficient momentum that is propelling us in a certain direction, we can't really stop it. You need an opposing or greater force to oppose the momentum that you have. For instance, if you make a lot of bad choices starting in your day, you're creating momentum to have a bad day. Let's say the first thing you do when you wake up is you check your phone, you check social media, then you have a really crappy breakfast, like something really sugary, then you have a bunch of coffee, then you go back to your phone, then you start judging other people, you start judging yourself. You are setting yourself up to have a bad day. You're building momentum, these little things, one after another, and later in the day, let's say it seems completely unrelated, but you end up yelling at a coworker, completely losing control, or you do something wrong and instead of telling the truth like you want to do, you lie about it. It could be a spectrum of different problems that arise. But the problem is you ended up making a bad decision based on the foundation of that momentum that was pushing you in that direction. So when we make bad decisions, it's usually because we're riding the wave of a series of smaller bad decisions that are leading us with this momentum of stupidity and towards being a person that we don't want to be. And you can understand that if you practice this day in and day out and week after week, then all of a sudden there's a massive momentum going towards a self-destructive life. So many people have been lying for so long to themselves or to other people. They've been eating the wrong foods. They've been doing so many things that are not congruent with who they want to be, that they've been creating this massive swell of momentum that's been pushing them towards a life that they don't love. So if you want to reclaim your life, if you want to build integrity, you need to create a counter momentum. That is, by starting to live up to the things that you say you're going to do one at a time. And what you're doing is you're creating this momentum towards becoming the person that you want to be. One decision at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 half day, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year at a time. And all of a sudden, you're building this positive momentum that makes you reaching your goal inevitable. It has to happen by the very nature that that momentum is propelling you in that direction. So if you want a wonderful life, you have to define what that looks like. You have to practice it moment by moment, and you need to understand that you're creating this momentum, which is a catalyst that is propelling you towards the life that you want. But it takes some time, especially if you already have momentum going in the other direction. So just know that it won't be 100%. If you're trying to change your life around, if you're trying to have a better life than what you had before, understand that you're not going to go 10 for 10 in integrity. You're sometimes going to be 5 out of 10, sometimes 6 out of 10, whatever the case may be. But just know that that's okay. So long as you keep on building that momentum, it'll get easier to be 6 out of 10, 7 out, until you're living 10 out of 10. What you say is what you do, and you're a person of integrity. So this is a lifesaver. Understand that you've already generated momentum up until this point. And if you're leading a life that you're not happy with, it's because you've built negative momentum out of a series of bad decisions. And in order to create a better life, you need momentum leading you in an opposite direction. So work on identifying what that life looks like and start making small steps towards generating that momentum that'll catapult you towards the life that you've been dreaming of since the day you were born. I hope this was helpful. As always, if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. I'm always happy to hear. If you want anything else from me, just reach out. I'm happy to get back to you.